Well, good day, y'all. Welcome to Reading 2. I'm doing a short video here on. We had a little proposal that I would take 3 items out in the wilds and just spend the night. In fact, it'll be in those woods right over there. This is one of my favorite places to go to. It's a nice beaver brook, but I wouldn't want to spend the night near this because it becomes a mosquito and bug magnet. And especially now that we have this big warm up, the bugs are going to really start to come out. Right now in the bright sunlight, it's not too bad, but this evening I would probably be covered with them. So I want to make sure that I'm not going to end up in that situation. So I posted the question, what should I take? And I got 14 people that responded. All right. The first question was, okay, I plan to do an overnight in the woods and record the video. What do you want me to take in the wilds to start a fire? And I gave 4 options. And the 4 options were: 1, a ferro cerium rod. It's a rod that makes sparks when you scrape the edge of it. Okay. In fact, we played around with it one time in my classroom a while back. Number 2, lifeboat matches. They're very big matches that burn like a torch. In fact, they'll even burn underwater. Okay. 3, an old-fashioned flint and steel, the way people did it for thousands of years. That's a lot more difficult. And then last but not least, the small teeny Bic lighter. I know it's cheating, but almost every outdoorsman has one in their pocket or in their kit, so to speak. Okay. Now, what's kind of neat about this is that, I don't know if you can see it. You can see the nice pie chart that this Google form makes. And according to this, the majority of people, 42.9%, said ferrocerium rod. So, on that little overnight, I'm taking the, frogs. When you're out in the woods, you know, like, I'm listening to different sounds, and I just heard a big frog over there. Don't worry, I had breakfast, so he's safe. All right. This here is a ferrocerium rod, and it's something that you can make, it'll generate some sparks. I'll show you how to start a fire out here with one of these. Okay. Number 2, let me flip the page. Okay. Okay, again, what type of cutting tool should I take? Okay. And I had 4 choices. Pardon me, this ground is very mushy. This used to be the bottom of a beaver bog, so it's kind of squishy. I have to watch where I step because I can go up to my knees or further in muck. Even though you get a nice cool flowing stream here, I probably wouldn't drink from it because I know it comes from a beaver pond, and beavers poop in the water, and that can make you sick. So anyways, getting back to this, right, what type of cutting tool? I said, well, how about light my fire knife? It's a sheath knife, but it comes from Sweden. It's a survival type knife. It's got a little ferrocerium rod in the back, and it's got a Scandi grind. It's like a good outdoorsman's knife. Then I showed on the other video the Spax hatchet. It looks like a medieval warrior's weapon, and it's actually used on the president's aircraft. It's actually they're found on the president's helicopter as a survival tool. Number 3, a large SE Rowan knife. I have a big sheath knife that sometimes I'll take out in the woods like this. Or the folding knife that Brian and Derek in the book chose. Well, the choice came down to, again, we look at the pie chart, and 35.7% said folding knife like the one used in the story. So I've had this buck knife since I was a teenager. I was about 15 years old. My dad, bought it for me. It was a Christmas gift. And I had the blade replaced because I wore the blade down from sharpening over the years. But when I was growing up, every teenager that grew up in a small town or out in the woods had a buck knife. And this was the infamous Buck 110. It's been around since 1964. It's a fairly strong folding knife. In fact, what it is, the blade locks. Now, it's not as strong as a sheath knife, but it's probably one of the strongest ones made, and a lot of hunters and outdoorsmen use it for all kinds of things. You know, I've dressed out deer and other animals with it before, and also cut branches and such. And when I always, you know, when I was growing up, I felt that if I had this and, you know, some matches, I could live anywhere. Of course, like I said, I grew up very differently. So this is the type of knife I'm going to take with me overnight, and I'm going to construct my shelter and prepare a fire and maybe a few other things to go along with to show you what you need to live, so to speak, out in the wilds. Okay. And the third question, okay, for insects, what should I take on my overnight? And according to this, you know, again, with the pie chart, okay, black bug net, the thermocell, that's that little thing that looks like a radio, and it gives out a scent that gets, for 15 feet around you, there won't be a single bug. They're great. I use one all the time in early bow season to get in, you know, because a lot of times if I hunt September, there's a lot of mosquitoes. I turn that thing on. The deer or a bear can't smell it, but the bugs can, and they stay away. Insect repellent or nothing, just make a good fire and just kind of tough it out. Well, according to this, 42.9% voted for the Canadian bug net. And you're probably saying, okay, to be honest, this is probably one of the most important things in a kit for survival that you can have. It's a fine mesh. You can kind of pull it over your hat. You know, granted, it's not a fashion statement, but the thing is, it will kind of like save your sanity. So let me see, I gotta fix this. Okay. I want to put it on, I want to make sure I'm doing it right. Okay. You really should put it over a hat if you're wearing a hat, because what it does do, right, and you put these shock cords under your arms, so that it kind of makes like a little bit of a tight fitting closure. Now I know some of you guys are probably laughing at this, saying, boy, that looks stupid. You know, it looks even more stupid. Your face full of bumps and red marks because it got eaten alive by mosquitoes, biting flies, and other things that want to suck your blood. At least, granted, my arms are exposed, I'll get bitten up here, but at least on my face, you know, if you think about it, it's more of a psychological thing. Something laying on your face and biting your face, it just drives you a little batty or a little wild. This way here, it kind of preserves your sanity. So this is what I'm going to have. And also, there's some tricks to using this little bug net for other survival purposes. And I'm going to show you how to do that, okay? Because I'm going to try and make this as entertaining as possible, along with, you know, the main points of reading The River by Gary Paulsen, where Brian, he's back up in the Canadian wilderness. In fact, it wouldn't look too much different than this, except for maybe more, oh, what do we have here? Oh, we've got some little frogs. Like I said, I already had breakfast, so they're safe. Besides, they're too small. Okay? So anyways, this is where I'm going to do the experiment. I just wanted you guys to know, you know, what I'm going to take and where it's going to be. Okay? And then, like I said, I'm still kind of new to the technology here, but we're working on it. You know, I'm a little slow on the upchuck, so to speak, when it comes to this stuff. I finally figured out how to, you know, download the GoPro movie onto my computer. So anyways, that's all for now, okay? And the next segment will be, you know, probably Thursday night. I'm going to be out in these wilds with just these 3 items. Well, no, I'm going to take a couple lights because this doesn't have night vision capability. So you wouldn't be able to see me at night recording something, all right? But it'll be interesting. And don't forget, the first 3 that responded in their emails to this are going to get a incentive from Miss Ashworth